Ba-dam-bam-bam. Hey, welcome back to the InnerMan Podcast, where we talk about the rough stuff, the real stuff, in a way that actually helps, you know, not just like a quick fix. I'm your host, Quentin Bain, and today we're going to talk about something that touches all of us at some point of our lives: losing people. All right. Friends, lovers, relationships that mattered. Sometimes suddenly, sometimes slowly, sometimes even when you're the one who walked out. It still hurts. So today's episode is called When People Leave, Questions That Help You Heal. If you're grieving someone who's still alive or missing someone who once felt like home, this one's for you. There's always like a void when people leave, whether if it's like a physical departure or, spiritual. You know, that moment after someone leaves your life, it's quiet. It's quiet, but that silence is deafening. Like still, like everything is still, but chaotic. Like your soul hasn't caught up with reality just yet. And what's worse, like you start replaying everything. What you said, what they didn't say, how close you were, and how fast it all changed. Like there are times when I still have moments when I grieve my late grandmother. She was honestly one of the closest people who seen me. Like as a man, we strive to be seen. But for somebody to see you at such a young age, like I was always a chameleon, like a social chameleon. I was always whatever the environment wanted for me. But she saw right through that. Like she saw who I was. And losing her, I feel like we're going on a couple years now, handful of years now. And I try not to think about it too often because that absence, that absence is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's tender. It's like that, that presence is no longer there. And the thought of it can, make somebody emotionally relapse. But, it comes with acceptance. There's really no time frame when it comes to mourning. But, even down to relationships, there are people who are different people now that I'm still caught up on when I last met them. And I'm mourning that person. Like you're no longer that person anymore. So it goes both ways. But which leads us to our first question. Like, am I grieving the person or the version of them I needed them to be? That's a tough one. That's honestly a tough one. Sometimes we fall in love with potential, with memories, with the 2 a.m. versions of people that never show up in daylight. When a friendship or relationship ends, it's easy to romanticize the best parts and forget the fractures, you know? But if you're honest, were you grieving what was or what you hoped it could be? Like like was it like the past or the future that you were caught up on? And that, don't write this down, like definitely put this in a journal. These are some journal entries that really get your brain up there in terms of just more introspective thinking and observation. But as I continue on with the introspective observation, did you lose them or did you find myself? Now, in this particular question is more teetered towards the question of, did I lose them or did I find myself? Now, this question is more towards the relationship aspect of loss and mourning Because sometimes relationships don't break, they reveal. You didn't lose them. You only lost the illusion that you could shrink yourself and still breathe. You found boundaries, self-respect, clarity, even if it came at a cost. And listen, both can be true. You can miss them and know it wasn't right. That's not confusion. That's healing. That is. Because you can miss them as a person, and be like, that it was foul how they did me, but it's really ultimately up to you how you discern. But understand that it's not confusion. But in the midst of the discernment, you may face moments when the silence stings. Like, one of the hardest things about losing someone is the silence that follows. Like, no more messages, no more late night calls, no more inside jokes, just absence. So here's a question that might sting, but also soothe. Diving back into the relationship aspect, if they came back tomorrow as the same version they were, would I still want them? Would you? Be real. Not the ideal version, not the fantasy, but the exact version of them, flaws, patterns, inconsistencies that walked out. Would you still let them in? For those that seen Sinners, you gonna let them in? Or are you really just missing the comfort of what used to be? Sometimes loneliness isn't a signal to reconnect, but it's a sign to reconnect with yourself. And in that understanding of what you were lacking while reconnecting with yourself, you get to start to go dive into the, what did this relationship really teach me about my needs? Like, because every ending, even the ones that break us, comes with wisdom. Maybe you learned you don't need, or you do need more honesty or more space, or that you deserve to be chosen fully, not as an afterthought, not as a backup plan, not as a project. Like, come on now, you're not an experiment. Like, take what the relationship taught you, leave the rest behind. Growth is the closure you give yourself. Come on. Growth is the closure you give yourself. Boss up. Boss up. And in the process, you're reclaiming your heart. Like, this is the part where you start taking your power back. Like, not by becoming bitter, not by pretending you didn't care, but by remembering that loss isn't the end of love. It's the start of self-love. Like, some phoenix. It does. The end is with the beginning. You die, and from the ashes you return. But don't return with baggage. Which brings me into my next question. What am I still carrying that doesn't belong to me? Guilt, blame, responsibility for how they treated you, how long you were dedicated to the mistake. Let it go. Sometimes people leave because they weren't ready to love you the way you needed. And that's not your burden to carry. Free yourself. Free yourself. Free yourself with self love. But then some may question, what would loving myself look like right now? Like right now, like not 6 months from now, not when you're over it. Like now, would it look like unfollowing them, writing the unsent letter, getting off of social media for a bit? You know what I'm saying? Sitting in your feelings without shaming them. Loving yourself doesn't always feel glamorous. You know what I'm saying? It's not always sunshine and lollipops. Sometimes it looks like crying alone with a playlist that wrecks you. Letting that train just hit you because you just were pushing it off for so long. Sometimes it's deleting the text you were never meant to send. Like, but each time you choose yourself, even quietly, you heal a little more. But let's take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's revisit the questions from today. Am I grieving the person or the version I needed them to be? Don't get caught up on the past or worry about the future because it takes you out of your present. Our second one, did I lose them or did I find myself? Either way, growth is inevitable. Number three, if they came back the same, the person whom of which we lost in terms of relationships, would I still want them? If it didn't work for you then, why would the new improved version of you accept what didn't work for you at a weaker state? Come on. Number four, what did this relationship teach me about my needs? Like, are you needy? Do you not need as much? Are you clingy? Like, can you get a lot of the stuff that you're asking for yourself? Like, and then number five, what am I still carrying that doesn't belong to me? Let things go. If it can be solved, don't worry about it. If it cannot be solved, do not worry about it. This, in the case, is all within your grasp, within your hands of control. Free yourself. Growth is freedom. Boss up. And number six, what would loving myself look like right now? Tap back into the things that used to really make you smile, make you genuinely happy, gave you the warm fuzzies inside. Oxygen first. Love yourself. It's only going to be you in that box at the end of the day. So focus on yourself. Push longevity. Push you first always. Like, understand, like, you're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to mourn. You're allowed to feel it all. But please remember, the ending of a relationship isn't the ending of you. You are still here. You are still worthy. You are still lovable, even in the quiet, even in the in between. Thank you for being here with me today on the InnerMan Podcast. If this resonated with you, pass it on with someone who might be hurting too. And if you're ready, leave a review or send me a message. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, I'm Quentin Bain, and this has been the InnerMan Podcast. Speak to you guys soon. Wait. Before you turn this off real quick, I just also going to let you guys know, quick disclaimer, that I want to remind everyone that this podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health advice. We are, what are we? Wait, before we go. I just want to remind everyone that this podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health advice. We're here to start conversations, share experiences, and provide support. But if you're struggling, please, I cannot stress this enough, please reach out to a mental health professional. There is no shame in seeking help. In fact, it is one of the strongest moves you can make. All right. See you guys next time. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, please. I love to hear from you guys. Would love to hear what you guys want to hear. Love if you guys would share what you want to hear more of. So, Quinn Bain again. See you guys later.